we're gonna get a little bit crazy. Wild and maybe even vulgar, if you please. It's after dark and we're gonna light it up. We got some fun in store for you, no tease. It's time for Midnight Edge. After dark, a little naughty. We'll hopefully make you chuckle, but we ain't trying to hurt nobody. So get ready quick on the double, cause it's time for Midnight Edge. After dark.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the program. That's right, it's time for Midnight's Edge After Dark. Welcome one and all. Hello, once again, I am Tom Connors. We have with us some Canadians and a Price of Reason. How you doing, Price?
Good, how's it going?
Good. Glad to have you here. We have also the pair of Canadians to my camera left, I guess you would call it, or stage left, whatever. To my right on screen, CC Karaoke and Script Doctor. How you doing, CC? You're muted. Let me unmute you here.
You muted us all. That's why.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly. We're to your camera right. So if we're in the right of frame, that's camera right.
I'm glad to be here as always. And probably fortunate to be in one of the few places, at least in North America, that's not burning down from forest fires right now.
That is pretty sweet.
The places I normally go this time of year are completely closed and inaccessible. So, hooray for not being there right now. It's beautiful weather here. Tell you that. 70 degrees,
Ooh,
no
nice.
smoke, clear skies. Yeah.
God's country, essentially. Yeah.
Basically, it's feeling that way. Or I'll just end up there Sunday.
Yep.
Everything's going in the east.
We also have Script Doctor with us.
Well, how's it going, Tom? Good to be here in the east. It's warm, it's habitable. No fires that I can see, clear skies. And yeah, apparently the mail service is running better than expected. I got a package that I sent 2 years ago. For a phone that I left in LA. It finally showed up this morning, so I'm pretty happy with that.
All the evidence is still intact.
Exactly.
Well, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is, where you is. We're glad you joined us here on the program. Hit that like button. Share out the stream. Let everybody know that we are live, even though we got started a little late today. We are here. I see so many regulars out in the chat, like Goddess of Whim, Davina Duckworth, Beep Bop Boop, Gonzalo Bergali, D-Bud Martin swinging around a wrench, as well as Goddess. I see CC hanging out there too. We got Hamdinger who's here. We got FKHC 2005. We got Sander here. Welcome everybody. Jason Webster. Hit the like button. Let everybody know that we're live. So yeah, some people saw Deadpool and Wolverine last night. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also going to talk about the wacky Joker 2 trailer. And maybe we'll even talk some Cobra Kai. We'll see here what comes up in the meantime. I watched Horizon again last night.
Really? After the first 3 hours were not enough?
I guess the order of the movie that I remembered was way different. I was like, all right, whatever. Well, plus it didn't help that the theater I saw it in was showing it all cropped off. So there was a couple of specific scenes I wanted to go back and actually read the subtitles I couldn't read in the theater.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I saw Twisters.
What'd you think of that?
I thought that it was a fun popcorn movie, and I rather enjoyed it.
I saw Thelma, which is, grandma gets swindled out of money and she goes on the hunt to get it back. And it's a really good...
Velma. I thought you said Velma, like the show Velma.
No, Thelma, like something tolerable. This one, Thelma, is actually a great movie.
Velma.
Yeah. Don't watch Velma. Don't watch anything with Mindy Kaling. Jeez, come on.
I was going to say.
But Thelma is a really good, and it's an endearing movie, and Richard Roundtree gives a great performance in it, and I highly recommend it. It'll get you in the feels, but it'll also make you laugh here and there. And it's good. I mean, the fact that nobody's really talking about it is kind of sad because it's a really, really good movie.
I think I vaguely remember seeing something about it, but yeah.
I think I saw something, but it's not something that I saw a lot of marketing for or even knew where it's playing or anything. The only
No, it's
person
very
I
low
heard
budget,
talk about it is you.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got they did a review of it on Film Threat a few weeks back. Yeah, it's limited release.
That's probably why I remember hearing something about it right there. Yeah.
But oh yeah, it's June Squibb, who is like 93, 94 in it, and she's character actor, been around for like 30 years in film, but stage actor since the 1950s. And yeah, she's great, and everybody, even Clark Gregg, and Parker Posey, they're in it for a spell as well, and they got some great chemistry too. So it's it's a heartwarming film. And yeah, I'm not even going to reveal the spoiler. There's another actor in there who's quite great, and yeah. So yeah, check it out if you can find it. It probably should be hitting streaming this week, I think. So go see it. I got to see it in a rep theater, and quite enjoyed it, and the audience liked it too. Lots of good laughs.
Cool. And now joining us late, we have Nick Weiser. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Tom? I was gonna come sooner, but then I saw there was Joker trailer watch, and well, I'm like, oh, I should hold back, and I went and watched, and now here I am. So, hello to you on the panel, and hello to our excellent chat.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to show the actual trailer or not, because Warner's usually jerks about that stuff, but
well, good. At least I can talk about it because I watched.
Yeah, we were just talking about stuff we just watched again, or watched for the first time. So, but yeah, how was Horizon on my rewatch? I didn't mean to watch the whole thing. It just sucks you in. Next thing I know, it's 5 a.m.
Whoa!
Like you went to the theater to watch it again?
No, it's on digital
already.
Yeah. And so is Bad Boys. That dropped last night. And I was gonna watch that instead at first, and I'm like, yeah, there's a couple
Bad
things.
Boys did okay in its run, but I feel like it could have maybe done better. Maybe they didn't release it at the right time.
Sort of. I think I said that they should have switched that out with Ghostbusters and saved Bad Boys for later in the year.
You're probably right.
But I don't know if Ghostbusters would have done any better or not. Well, you never know. Oh, wow. It's Jason Webster's birthday today. Breaking open the French champagne and party like it's 1999. We'll be dancing on the ceiling. Everybody have fun tonight. Look at all those 80s references.
All right. I've actually caught quite a few of these. I like it. Hello, Jason. Probably like it's 1999. Shall we get on?
Well, Jason, I know a thing or two about Prince in 1999. So I just got to say, for your birthday, I'm going to sing you a different song than I normally sing. Party man, birthday party like nobody can. Something. Party man, woo, yeah. Happy birthday. Wow. Well, I guess that was that.
Thanks, Pat Tom. Thank you.
He actually sang for you, Jason.
I know, right? How fortunate and lucky. I wish I had that.
The extra mile.
He did. I think it's because he brought up 1999 and it made him think of Prince. And that makes Batman get all dancy and excited.
Well, that just makes me think of Y2K.
Yeah.
And people definitely got dancy and excited that night.
Right?
Well, Twisters, you said you saw that price, right?
Yes, I did. And I think that it reminded me of an old school kind of blockbuster. And I didn't feel like it was too preachy or anything like that. I felt like there was just a plot and there were twisters and people were just trying to stop them or whatever. And it was...
You're welcome.
It was a good You know, it was just a decent popcorn movie.
Look what happens when I can get rid of her.
You know what? It's true. It had, I think, Steven Spielberg executive produced along with Frank.
So did I.
Kathy was not in
Twisters,
involved in this.
baby. What I said, I told him. I said, and I went in there and I go, you know what's better than Twister, right? More than one Twister. Twisters. So now for the third one, now I got some ideas. We're gonna do it Twisters, but we're gonna have the E be a 3, okay? And it's gonna have Twisters with nuclear bombs inside.
Frank, you just walked into the room and you wrote an S at the end of Twisters with the money dollar sign as a dollar sign.
Fucking ain't right. Congo 2 is gonna work, baby. I told you.
Congos. It's gonna be Congos.
Congos, multiple Congos. There's 2 places. That's how come Jurassic Lost World worked, because it was a 2 parks. There's multiple parks. Then we added a 3rd one. And then there was another island besides that. So we got all sorts of parks everywhere. And that's what I bring to the table. Bigger, better, more. Add an S, gets more dollar signs, like the script dude said. You busy? I got some work for you, motherfucker. We're going to make some shits.
Wow.
I'm in the money. I'm in the money. My wife sucks at Star Wars, but I know how to make some hits.
As opposed to some other things that don't need a sequel, and maybe this one didn't need one. It wasn't
You
bad.
shut your fucking mouth.
It wasn't bad.
Every movie needs a sequel.
I guess.
No, I guess. No. Cocoon got a sequel.
Did it though? That's Cocoon sequel.
Yes.
was
Cocoon
shit.
the Return.
That was
My
shit,
buddy
man.
Ron directed it. I don't care.
That
It's
was
still got
pretty
Steve
shit.
Guttenberg in it.
That was shit. The first one they somehow got away with. That was it. There was no need.
2
for
words. Brian fucking Dennehy.
more. The first one was good. I struggle to remember what happens in Cocoon the Return. I remember watching it.
They
and thinking
returned.
It was awful.
It was, wasn't it?
Forgettable.
Hugh
I really liked
Cronin
the first one.
died.
It's kind of a classic.
What happened to Wilford Brimley in the second one?
He got older.
You never get old and you never die.
That was a pretty good Wilford Brimley.
Next up, did he do Pepperidge Farm commercial? What did he do?
Say, I got diabetes.
Did he do Pepperidge Farm or was it orange juice? I can't remember.
He
No, it
did.
was a diabetes.
He did
Say it.
diabetes. He did Quaker Oats.
I got to get out of the voice or I'm going to die.
Quaker Oats.
Yeah, he did the Quaker Oats ones. That I remember.
Orange juice.
I'm Wilford Brimley and I have diabetes.
That was one thing.
Oh, he
but
did
there
do the orange juice ones too. You're
was
right.
orange juice.
He was only 40 when he was doing those diabetes commercials too. Like,
Tropicana.
Well, that's the funny thing about Cocoon is he's like half the age of the rest of the cast.
yeah, exactly.
He looks twice as old.
And he looks twice as old. Because he was born like 50.
So basically, he had
Popped
the
out of his
Alice
mother
Cooper-
and he's like, I'm Wilford Brimley.
He's a little bit
Mustache
like Tommy
and
Lee
all.
Jones. They've always looked 40 years older than they actually were.
That's true. Like the weird thing about Tommy Lee Jones is he looked young for a while and then something happened. And all of a sudden he started looking old and didn't stop.
It happened. It happened. Had to have happened in the early 60s because the stuff that I've seen him in the 70s, he looks almost identical to how he looked in The Fugitive.
Nah, Rolling Thunder, he looks like baby faced and a couple other early
I don't know.
70s
Like,
ones.
he's in the Charlie's Angels pilot. He looks like the only thing that's young about him is that Dirk Benedict haircut he's wearing. He's still got the wrinkles.
When did that come out though?
Charlie's Angels? That was like 78, 79, I think.
Okay, that's a little later 70s. I was going to say, I think it happened somewhere in the mid 70s. Because by the time you see him again in the 80s, from my memory, it's like he's already old. Like when he does that John Carpenter movie and shit. The one about the car.
Christine?
No, the other one. The one he didn't direct, but he wrote.
Oh, Jesus.
Was it
So-
a Dark Star? Not Dark Star.
No, not Dark Star. He's talking about what John wrote that didn't direct. That's a little bit harder for me to pull.
I know it's with that weird car, that cool car, and they actually like. It's got all like it's kind of like Knight Rider, but it's not exactly. But they like steal the car. Oh, what the hell was it called? Black something. I know. Yeah, thanks, Corley and Rogue. Usually you're on this shit. What
Black
the hell?
something.
Yeah, now he's starting to sound like me. And God, what the hell was it called? I had the VHS when I was younger too. It's got what's her face from Terminator in it as well. Oh God, what the hell was it called?
Don't know.
Oh, somebody will remember. The Black something. Yeah, everybody's like Black something.
I kind of just want to see a movie called The Black Something now.
Right? I'm not interested.
Oh, Black Moon Rising?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
See, because that's the movie I remember him from when I was a kid. Like probably one of the first things I saw him in as a kid. Right before I went back and seen older stuff of his. So like at that point, he already looked like Tommy Lee Jones looks now. And that was like early 80s. So like
That was 86, Black Moon Rising.
in mid 80s then, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little earlier than that, but it feels earlier than that. Weird. But yeah, it was written by John Carpenter, but he didn't direct it.
That's I'm looking up here. Harley Cookless directed that, and I'm not familiar with them.
But it was written by John Carpenter.
But he's a TV director. That's why.
I'm pretty sure it was Linda Hamilton was the chick in it.
Yes, Linda Hamilton is in the chick in it.
I haven't seen it in forever, but yeah, it's like one of the harder Carpenter movies to find. I'm sure it got a DVD release at some point, but believe it or not, I don't own it. If it has a Blu-ray, I got to get it. But anyway, let's get on with the news. You guys want to talk about the Joker first?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Showboaty trailer, yeah.
Yeah, because we got this new Joker trailer from Todd Phillips, Joker Fallout Doo-Doo. Yeah. Look, what did you guys think? Because I don't know. Let's start with you, Price. What did you think of the trailer?
I saw it quickly once and like I didn't, review it again. I didn't feel like it really did something different than what I thought about it last time. I didn't see something. Was there something that was supposed to happen in this trailer that was so drastically different than anything we've seen until now?
I don't think so.
It seemed kind of like a different take on what the previous one that I'd seen. I mean, there was something with him driving in the car at the beginning and hearing about how his trial or something, but I don't know. I mean, there was nothing that happened in this trailer that I felt like changed my thoughts about the movie. I'm kind of hesitant about it, and I don't know if it's going to be good, but I'll give it a chance.
All right. Nick, what'd you think? Since this was one of the main reasons you wanted to bop in here.
I was not impressed at all. But to be fair, I didn't like the first Joker movie, and I seem to be one of 5 people on the planet who doesn't like it. It's nothing against Joaquin Phoenix. I think he's a good actor. I think he's very, very talented. And obviously the movie, I guess the nicest thing I could say about it is it's visually nice, but that shouldn't be the best thing I should say about it, because a lot of movies that are really bad nowadays look visually nice. So I guess that kind of cancels that out. I see this and I don't feel like I'm watching a DC movie.
That's the point, though.
I know that's the point. And
it's like an Elseworlds comic or whatever.
Yeah. But the thing is, even Elseworlds type of stories, Black Label, whatever you want to call it, they still felt like DC. They still felt like a character. Even when they actually, and I've read some radically different takes on some characters, and they're different enough where it stands on its own 2 feet, but still enough so you can still recognize it for what it is. And I don't see or feel the Joker. To me, it's just they needed a name that would sell this movie, and they slapped the DC label of Joker on here.
Well, it's the opposite. Oh, kind of like that, but yeah, it's more complex than that.
And maybe it is. Maybe it is. I won't.
Because this is not trying to sell it as this is an authentic type of Batman or Gotham DC story. Like that's the difference, right? If it were trying to do that, you'd have far more valid criticism for it, because like, well, this doesn't feel at all authentic to the characters. What they're doing here is they're basically saying, we're just going to have fun with these characters, and we're not going to make them dependent on anything that you've ever seen before with regards to Detective Comics.
Yeah, I know, and you're right on that. It's just, even then, I'm aware of their approach and I'm aware of their intention. And I still can't get behind it. If I even wanted to get behind it and brush that all aside, I don't like how sympathetic Joker is. That drives me crazy. It almost feels like a politics thing where there's
I can
people
accept that. I mean, because I agree with you, but I can accept it at least in the first film, because you realize that it's
many
from
people
his.
behind the Joker.
Well, honestly, that I can see, especially nowadays.
I'm worried about the musical aspect. I mean, it's nothing personal against Lady Gaga, but this thing can go south. I'm trying to keep an open mind and hoping that it's not going to be annoying, but I never like it when people start singing in a movie for no apparent reason.
Well, that's the core of a musical, though.
Right, but
Kind of.
that's my issue. I mean, here it's supposedly not exactly a musical. It'll be like some surreal things, but really, when I think about it, I don't like it when people start singing in the middle of a movie. Now, if you're watching like a Broadway musical and you know what you've signed up for, and you go there and they're dancing and singing, I suppose it's okay. If certain movies, if they're like adaptations of a Broadway musical and you know exactly what you're getting with it, maybe it's okay. But turning something into a musical for no apparent reason is not my favorite thing. And if I go to this Joker movie and they're singing their dialogue to each other, that's going to be a real issue.
I actually really loved the trailer. Let's say that straight up. But I'm not without some level of concern. I mean, on the bright side, it looks like it's really well shot. It looks like there's a lot of potentially powerful stuff going on here, especially if those two have chemistry on screen, which they have to have. But the trailer seems to give me that notion that they do. Now, I have two concerns. First of all, which you already mentioned, Price, the politics. They're clearly like they're not giving away the whole story here, but there's always like they seem to be leaning into this thing where a sensational man is exciting the populace to create a change in against the establishment.
Are you saying he wants to make America great again?
No, if anything, what it's actually promoting is the fact that the media sensationalizes, the scandals more so than the heroics.
Or serial killers, and
as long as the writers aren't getting too, stupid with that, it should be fine. I think I'm keen to watch that, just as long as it doesn't, get too ham-fisted.
Here's my problem with this trailer. Okay, like, first of all, my first initial reaction to it is, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm feeling that way because it's not the standard trailer we're used to now, and I can get that, but it also has this pretentious tone poem kind of thing going on with it.
Right.
But again, I think, the opposite of Nick, like, I went into the first Joker movie expecting to hate it. And I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I was like, okay, so this is like, a television episode when they are clearly being inspired by a movie, or whatever. So I didn't have a problem with that. And kind of the way it's presented with the, the false narrative or the narrative through Joker's point of view, we don't really know what's real and what's not real. And that exacerbates the problems with this one now. Because you can kind of only get away with that once. Because now from here on out, as an audience member, I'm completely off my, I'm on the ball of my heels, or however you want to put it, to where I'm constantly looking for the tell me sign, or the get you, or the whatever you want to call it.
The twist, the M. Night Shyamalan effect.
Yes, something like that. The M. Night Shyamalan effect. Thank you. Perfect example of that. To where now I'm going into this going, okay, so what is really real and what is not? And to go off of what Fala Adu really even means, it means madness shared by two, right? It's a rare psychiatric syndrome where two people have the same hallucinations, basically, right? And I don't even know if that's something you can believe in per se, but
Well,
evidently that's what the movie's running
they're
with.
they're
Yeah.
sharing hallucinations, not in the sense of like they're experiencing them at the same time, as they're both communicating things that are triggering the exact same response, and they're able to kind of, it's like they're improvising
Fair.
together, but they see it far more visually. And it's folie à deux.
Well, thank you, Mr. French Canadian.
It's
I'm
my
not
favorite
French Canadian,
Fall Out Boy
I know I
album.
was being sarcastic.
but yes. Well, the thing is like I get this because again, when I heard the announcement of this, I thought, oh, this is going to be kind of pointless. Then I read the script, which I really liked, and I found the script is slightly better than the final product, because they did something in that movie that was, in the script that was far better than what they did in
For the first movie, you mean?
In the first movie, yeah, and that was they they had more of a distance between him and his female neighbor. As opposed to they made them kind of closer, and they then played it off as more of a hallucination. I thought that didn't work as well. But this one here, it seems like that I understand the pretentious nature of it. I think that's just because they cut a trailer that wasn't a cut and paste of all the other trailers we saw. It's a little harkens back more.
That could be. That could be.
Mid-90s. I think is a natural evolution where they're like, yep, he's been held in county for X many years until his trial date. And then it seems like what I got from it is that, yes, the media is sensationalizing this guy because he killed a famous comedian, late night talk show host, live on television. So yes, they're going to run with that. And are they not a contributor to his madness? Because the first movie was all about how, the public's health sector in Gotham was being gutted. And as a result, it created him as the Joker, as this Joker, at least. And now it's like, well, now we've got the media who's trying to profit off of him and sensationalize his trial and build him up. So are they going to now make him worse than he actually is? And it seems that's the case, because now it's spread over into essentially Lady Gaga playing Harley Quinn, who is enamored with him on the obsessive level, basically, pardon my French, but a star fucker. And that's what we're going to be following through with this one here. We're seeing an evolution, a degraded evolution of turning, a mentally unstable person that should have been confined long before the events of the first movie into, a serial killer, essentially, that is going to have more celebrity than he actually deserves.
I think it's a great movie.
Which can work,
yeah.
As long as Todd Phillips don't come out and say this is an allegory on Trump, we're fine.
Right.
Well, that'd be stupid, because it's not that at all.
It's probably not, but it just struck me that
I'm not as worried about
that.
that. I just think, like, I saw that first movie. They did something a bit different with the idea of the Joker, and like Tom said, whether you like it or not, they did whatever they did, and I didn't really feel like I needed more of it. I feel like they gave it, they did what they did, and that was their time to go home. And this whole thing seems like kind of a I don't know if to say a cash grab, or I don't know. It doesn't feel like it was necessary to make this other one now that's a musical with Lady Gaga. And nothing I've seen until now, even if it's a surreal dream and this is what's happening, I don't know. Now, maybe I'll go to it and it'll surprise me. I'm willing to give it a chance. But until now, everything I've seen in the trailers, I'm not super excited.
Speaking of the fact that it's a musical, we're 2 trailers in now, and I don't know what the music in this movie is. I don't know if it's great or if it's
jukebox
crap.
music. I think the Smile song or whatever it was that we're hearing over the trailer is one of the songs that's being sung in the movie. I think they're going to be dowered down kind of versions of songs that we already know, probably.
I think that's probably
I would think that there's a third trailer. If it was up to me, the next trailer before October should be one entire song from the movie. Put it online and put your best
I agree
foot
with
forward.
you. We got to see what this is, because I agree. I could be wrong, but we do know from what we've heard so far, we don't know if it's accurate, that it is a jukebox musical, which I think is a huge mistake if that's the case, because you got Lady Gaga on here. You should have her write some original songs for this, even if it's like 4 or 5
you
songs.
didn't write any original songs for this?
The only thing with covers, though, is you can make covers your own. or
Yeah,
or
but
you
that's-
can just replicate it, but you could also sensationalize it as a wholly new kind of experience, which
This seems
I'm
annoying.
willing
Why
to
are they
accept.
singing these jukebox songs? What are they doing? Like, it's too much. Maybe the pretentious label is true. There's something. I hope I'm wrong. Like, I'm struggling with myself because it's not that
My
I want
problem
it
with
to
the
be bad.
jukebox musical thing is it's been done to death, right?
Yeah.
You've had everything from Moulin Rouge to what was the one that come out more recently
You mean
here?
La La Land? Because that was like 6 years ago.
No, there was another one besides La La Land. I'm trying to think.
West
of.
Side Story with
No, because that has its own original music. I'm trying to think.
The-
There was another one that was
The only
the one with
jukebox
the rock
music-
star one with Tom Cruise. That was
Oh,
the
yeah,
Rock
that
of
was
Ages.
That was
and I
a
like Tom
Oh,
Cruise,
yeah.
but that
long
was
time ago,
shit.
too.
No, but it's just a common
agree
thing.
with you.
It's
I-
on
I'd
Broadway.
rather-
It's even more so because like Footloose and some other ones have been that way, and which those I don't mind as much. But like this, just taking songs from like different periods and throwing them into a musical for no apparent reason to me, just I think it's lazy.
The only place that I like to listen to jukebox music is Friday nights with CC Karaoke. And aside from that, all these other people can go screw themselves.
I agree with you. Like original music, I think this is the right place to use original music. But it's like anything; it has to be good. And right now, I don't know if it's going to be good. They haven't like shown me that they're confident in it because they haven't shown me anything.
Well, the other part too is maybe they are confident in that they're not going to show you because they don't want to ruin it. Like that's the other part
Maybe.
too.
Sure,
That's a
but
good point,
you know
though.
what?
from script. I could concede to that.
You got a full length movie. Give me one song from it, just to show
Yeah.
me. I don't need all 10 or 15. Just give me one.
I think they're going to
You know?
hold off on that until you get closer to the date because that's where you're going to get the excitement.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's
'Cause if-
smart.
let's
Like-
put it this way: if say in late September, Lady Gaga says, "Oh, I have an album, surprise album that I'm releasing, and two of the songs are originals that are going to be featured in the Joker movie." You know,
That'd be
sequel.
huge.
That would
be-
be smart.
That's marketing, and that's old school marketing. And I don't know if they've done that. If they do that, that'd be amazing. If they don't, they've missed a huge opportunity, and they also screwed up their chances of actually really.
Yeah.
I mean, getting some motivation behind this because again, the first one was around $50 to $60 million, and it netted $1 billion at the box office without the aid of China. They had to make a sequel. Warner Brothers had to make a sequel, even if they're only going to get half of that at best.
Imagine Lady Gaga comes out with an original song that's going to be in the movie, gets 1 billion, 2 billion hits a couple weeks before the movie comes out.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
It'll drive the box office through the roof.
I still think the movie's going to do very well. I mean, now obviously you can have it say, well, are you talking in terms of profit or gross? Obviously, hard to say in terms of profit, but in terms of domestic or worldwide gross, I think it still has a potential to hit $1 billion. I still truly believe that. I don't think this movie should be ruled out. Obviously, I could end up being wrong, but I truly believe this one could land in the $1 billion marks. There's a lot of people who really want this to be a thing. The Joker Harley dynamic is still very popular, very undeniably so. And there's a lot of people who like the first movie. So I think it should definitely be considered a hard conversation that $1 billion is a possibility.
Well, especially if it just hits the cultural zeitgeist memes. If she releases a
It'll
song a
be
couple
memed
weeks
no
ahead of
matter
time,
what. Good or bad. Yeah,
but I
it's going to
mean,
be memed, of course.
if it gets, especially if it's that positive word of mouth where people are talking, hey, it's actually not a bad movie. You know, it's maybe a movie you take your girlfriend to, and it's got the song that's been really popular, and people are sharing it all over. Like TikTok or not, it's going to drive views. Especially if people start using it in short videos and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we all know that the reason that this trailer is dropping this weekend is because it's probably attached to Deadpool and Wolverine. That's why.
Yeah, that seems plausible.
So, pardon me, I had to blow my nose there. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Walter Tomaszewski says, "Wow, with all the new JBL horns and rebuilt crossovers, Tom comes in loud and clear, waiting for my plaster to drop and my windows to shatter and drop. Well, I'm glad to hear that I'm coming through loud and clear." Goddess a Whim sends in 5 and says, "I really missed you guys last week." Well, we missed you too, Goddess. We're glad you're here.
Hello.
Glad you're here. And then we got Jason Webster, who says the trailers for Rebel Moon Director's Cut and Joker Follow Do dropped. Talk about chalk and cheese. Well, I didn't even bother with the Rebel Moon trailer.
There was a trailer that came out. Oh wow.
Yeah, because the movie drops in like a week or two.
Oh, let me guess. Is this the director's cut?
Yeah, it's just. Oh,
I refuse to call it that. It's not a director's cut.
It's actually a remake, I guess. Really,
a remix, a special edition, whatever. It's not a
What could
director's
possibly happen in his director's cut that would make me change my mind about these movies?
cut. I don't know. He reshot a bunch of shit.
He did?
yeah. Actually, after he'd already turned in the initial cuts, he went back. He basically pulled a Justice League on Netflix scam that he did with Warner Brothers. He went back.
He's such a
jumped-
Even though I
Weirdo.
think that was part of the plan from the start, but yeah.
He's such a weirdo. I don't understand this weird strategy.
he doesn't know how to strategize. That's why. It's so
That's
weird.
the point. You put two words together in a sentence that don't belong in the same sentence as him, as in Zack Snyder.
And
That's your first
strategy.
mistake. Yeah. Yeah. See, that's the problem. And Mikey's going to bitch because we had to bring up Zack Snyder. Captain Fandom Nerd's been a member for 33 months. Thank you for that, Captain Fandom Nerd. Hope you're doing well. Speaking of Mexican Iron Man, SFX F314 Sabretooth Raptor sends in 2 and it says, Mexican Iron Man, Mexican Iron Man, Mexican Iron Man. Will Mexican Iron Man appear? I don't know.
Maybe he'll show up.
Never know. But with that, yeah, speaking of Deadpool and Wolverine, the early reactions are in. In fact, most of them are pretty positive. Now, keep in mind, this is mostly the media critics.
You can
and
never
whatnot.
trust this. It could be that it's a great movie, but I wouldn't know from these people because the people that they invite
Did you
to these
see Chris Gore's
A
review?
game changer.
Like I say, Chris
Chris
Gore.
Gore
and
gave a
Alan-
very favorable review. So did
Alan Ng
Holly
liked it.
Latino's Plan.
Holly liked it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we got like Deadpool and Wolverine is a game changer for the MCU. It's the biggest, boldest, and most badass MCU film since Infinity War and Endgame. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are the ultimate duo we've all been waiting for. But I guess the whole best since Infinity War and Endgame has been going around a lot, so that's probably one of their talking points.
When they say game changer, is that an Eternals game changer or an actual MCU is turning the corner game changer kind of?
I don't think it's going
Yeah.
to change anything with the rest of the MCU.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine is the funniest MCU project ever. No surprise there. And of course, the
Yeah,
goriest.
that
No
I
surprise
expect.
there as well. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman together as these iconic icons is incredible. It's not perfect, but it's thrilling theatrical experience and a step in the right direction for Marvel. So yeah. And then we got Fandango's Eric Davis, who says, "Let's fucking go! Absolutely love Deadpool Wolverine. Yes, the cameos and surprises are epic, and the humor, actions, blood-soaked fights, and needle drops are tremendous too. But the respect and love for the characters win you over. This is the ultimate Deadpool movie. It is.
So Chris Gore said he loved it.
Yep.
It is the ultimate Wolverine movie. It's a darn good time, and it's the best of the 3 Deadpool movies for sure. Have fun. All right, so there's another positive.
Hey, hopefully it's good. I'm seeing it Thursday, Tom. I got my ticket this morning. I'll be seeing it at 3:30, so I should be home when it's all said and done by around
Yeah, it's the same time I'm seeing it.
6:45. So as soon as
Yeah,
you're
I'm
ready,
figuring about 7 or so, 7:30, 8 o'clock.
okay,
latest, we'll do
yeah,
the
as soon
show.
as you're ready, let's no pun intended, but let's fucking go as soon as you're ready.
Here's one that said it's the most fun since Spider-Man No Way Home.
That'd be an easy bar to cross.
Yeah, that's an easy. I get why they're trying to say stuff like that, and I know most people won't think too much about that, but people who do are like, that's not something you want to strive for. But that said, though, yeah, we know that a lot of shills are giving it reviews, but there are also people in our side, our corner of YouTube, who are giving favorable review who would not be afraid to not. So I think that's a good sign that people are going to have a good time, and you know that's good.
Mostly positive. I think there's only like one negative in here. I'm trying to find it.
I'm sure there's
Oh, maybe they
always
took it
gonna be
out.
a negative. There's
But there
always
was
gonna be a
one negative one I saw earlier, but that was it. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds like most of us are planning on seeing it Thursday night. So, yeah, again, the show will probably start a little later because we'll talk about the movie then. But yeah, it sounds like it's getting mostly positive reviews, a few good reviews from people we trust for the most part. I don't know what any of you guys have heard otherwise, but
I have been steered pretty well clear of spoilers, so I think I'm okay actually. So I'm trying to make sure I don't run into anything. So as long as I got less than 48 hours. So yeah, and after then, we can go all in.
all right. Anybody else want to talk about that?
If Chris gave it a good review, I trust him.
Yeah.
It seems like at the very least, it's not going to be awful. And I'm not trying to use that as a way of saying we should just accept it as that just because it's less, not as bad as our movies. But it's just good to know that we're not getting something that's going to be outright crap. And hopefully it ends up being the best movie that it could possibly be. I don't want this to be just the best thing in the last 3 years because that's not high watermark. You want this to be the best movie it could be. And for all we know, maybe it is that good. I hope
I
it's
don't know if
great.
it's going to be. I have a feeling that it's going to be the best out of the past 3 years. I don't know if it's going to be like as good as the hype is building, but I feel like it's at least going to be okay.
Well, we'll find out.
I like that take, Price.
Are you seeing it right away, Price?
Yes, I'm going to see it Thursday at 3 p.m. or whenever I can.
So we'll all be together then come Thursday evening. Cool.
Yes, we will.
I did see a cool Cinemark popcorn bucket where they took Wolverine's mask and made it the bucket. It's at the Cinemark there. So for any of you guys who live at a Cinemark, there's a cool Wolverine mask bucket, and there's also a Deadpool taxi one as well. So in case you got Cinemark by you, you know what to get as far as sweet merch if you're into that.
Actually, there's 2 buckets, one Deadpool and one Wolverine one. Yeah, unless there's other ones too that are exclusives that I don't know about, but yeah.
Victor Fontaine said that Entertainment Weekly slammed it. Well, that actually is kind of
Really?
reassuring.
Yeah,
If
that
true,
just pumps me
that's
up to
actually
see it.
reassuring.
Let's see what they said.
You
Yeah,
just
let's see what they
sold
said.
me. Yeah. Oh man, that's I call that an endorsement nowadays. Oi.
Let's see what they say. Relentlessly irritating with cheap jokes instead of steak. Okay. So, in other words, they just want another Avengers movie.
I don't know.
It's like if Rolling Stone gave it a bad review. I would take that as a good sign that I should watch the movie.
Yeah, right.
Who's reviewing this? Let's see. Jordan Hoffman.
I haven't heard of him, but to be fair, I don't pay attention to him either, so I'm not the go-to guy on Jordan Hoffman. It looks like he's gonna start going into spoilers, so I guess we could say tread lightly on this.
Yeah, I'm just kind of reading to hear what he says is.
Look at the last line. I guess if one wanted to interpret the Deadpool phenomenon as being homophobia by overcorrection, I wouldn't stop them. What does that mean? I don't. Maybe I'm reading it wrong, but I think I actually don't.
Okay, the other thing that has really outstayed its welcome is Ryan Reynolds teasing gay banter. The series boasts its subversive lewd talk, mug for camera. Just mentioned X in Disney movie. What? But you know what?
So he's
I don't
offended
see Reynolds
that it's,
actually kissing other men. Oh yeah, he's pissed that they don't actually go through with it. Basically. Oh, so fuck this guy's point. He's a dumbass. Another weirdo. Fuck him.
If anything,
he's telling us that the movie's not DEI enough, which is
right. If anything, this review makes me think that maybe the movie is kind of okay, maybe even better than I thought.
We'll find out. Like I said, let's all stay moderately hopeful.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, cautiously optimistic is even better. Yeah, I just want to see. I just want to be able to go there and enjoy a movie. So that would be great because I did enjoy Despicable Me 4. I'm actually seeing Twisters tonight, and then I go to theaters 2 days later for this movie. So it'd be nice to have a hat trick of movies that I enjoy.
it's just good that good movies.
He calls it the world's
are
biggest
doing well.
Family Guy episode.
Ouch.
Yeah, well, it depends on current Family Guy or when Family Guy was good 2 cancellations ago.
I would have preferred a South Park during their peak era.
Right. Let's see what you guys are saying out in the chat. And I asked us on the poll earlier. Wow. I was kind of surprised by this because I didn't see a lot of negative responses in the trailer comments. But does the Joker movie make you want to see it? 63% said no. Now 64% for the final count. That's not good.
I still think it's gonna do well. I still think it's gonna make a ton of money.
I agree.
Yeah,
It's
also
going to
most
do
of the
okay.
cracking
It's going to do
vote on
fine.
that.
There's not going to, I don't think they're going to lose their shorts over this movie.
No, but that is a bit of a.
Unless it's really bad. If
Like,
it's just
unless it's like
good
Cats
or
with
better
Taylor
than good.
Swift and James Corden, then I think it'll make like at least $500 million, like Script or somebody said here. I think that it'll make $500 million minimum.
I think it's safe to say when they said Taylor Swift is not in the movie, they were telling the truth, because if she was, that would have gotten out. That would have absolutely gotten out.
Oh no, she's not in the movie from what we heard. Yeah.
Oh, I know. We heard so, but that forget when sometimes nowadays cast members lie just to because they they
Although
can't.
there was supposedly some fake rumors out there put out by Disney on purpose, so we'll see what they were. Nikki D sends intense and says, given the recent success of Twisters and the upcoming blockbuster Deadpool 3, is it safe to say the box office is saved this year? Also, will the MCU reboot or will they continue with the Kang saga? Okay, one thing at a time here. First off, do you guys think that the recent trend in Hollywood is that the box office is saved? I don't know if it's saved, in my opinion. I'd say it's getting back to the levels it was kind of pre-DVD era, where they used to just bombard the weekend with movies. Like now you have like one big movie every weekend as opposed to 5.
Mhm.
And in some cases you got a couple weeks in between films. Like Deadpool and Wolverine's going to get some nice it's got a nice wide berth in front of it. Like there's not a lot coming up for competition until like you can either consider Alien or maybe at best Beetlejuice will be the first competition it really has. So what do you guys think? Do you think the box office is back to normal and saved this year, or what do you guys think? CC?
I wouldn't say saved. I'm just optimistic to see that movies without heavy messaging, just good, entertaining movies, seem to be succeeding at the box office more than movies that aren't. That, the population is speaking with their wallets, and that's actually working, right? There's always a little part of the back of my mind that's like, okay, once Hollywood starts putting out good classic entertainment, I really hope it works. I hope that they do really well at the box office to push that, hey, this is a good idea. Do more of this, please. So I'm optimistic to see that is working. Good response to a movie like Twisters, so on. And I hope to see more of that. I wouldn't say that it's saved yet, but it hopefully will help move things in the right direction.
Yeah, it seems like people are responding to going and seeing Twisters. It seems like people are enjoying it, and hopefully I'm one of them as well. Even if I don't, hopefully there are people that do and continue so. And yeah, if they keep on the trajectory, it's not going to be solved this year, like no matter what.
Yeah, it takes years to turn the ship, right?
Thank you, CC. It's going to be a years-long process, but hopefully, when they see certain movies that are doing well, that are just driven by being purely entertainment, maybe we'll have a historic rarity where they actually learn the right lesson. Like, okay, these movies are different from each other. Obviously, they're most of them are being based off a franchise, but they see that they're driven by entertainment. Hopefully someone gets the memo on that, because it seems like a lot of these movies that are doing well are on that line of, we want to entertain you for 2 hours. So hopefully that is registered.
Indeed. And then we have, let's see here. We've got, you guys, rest of you, what do you guys think? Anybody else want to comment on this? Sorry, Price, you didn't get to say anything in script.
Okay, well, no, it's too early to tell. It's good that you have a couple of interesting tentpole films that are likely to continue. As for the Kang saga, it's going to be morphed into something else. Kang will saw. I think they've recast Kang already.
That's
If
the
I'm not
rumor, I
mistaken.
think.
That's the rumor. And yeah, they'll figure out a way to resolve that and run with it. They're never going to reboot the MCU because it's literally too big to fail in Hollywood terms. No other franchise has had this level of consistency, this many movies in such a short time frame. They cannot just wash it out of your mouths and start again. It'd be an admission to guilt. And guess what? Nobody in Hollywood wants to admit wrongdoing or guilt. So sorry, you're stuck with this. You're going to have that period of the MCU that is not perfect, that is actually painful and cringe, and it's going to be there forever.
Indeed. And then we've. Anybody else got anything more to say about the box office or King? I think they're going to start moving it away from it, even though they supposedly had cast somebody else. But yeah,
I've heard. I thought I read something, and obviously, pinch of salt because this is not confirmed. Apparently, they're going to transition into the mutant saga instead of the Kang multiverse saga.
maybe.
Yeah,
And then
they'll probably rewrite it so that they make the Kang introduction and how his execution was done similar to what they did with Loki. Because before they decided to go with the Thanos saga, Loki was going to be the big bad, and then he became second fiddle to Thanos, and then he became an anti-hero and now is doing the thing. They could follow the similar formula with Kang. Like, he's just the stepping stone to the next big bag of whatever this huge, big bad is going to be, what this huge saga is going to be. And they'll just, park him in the rear for a bit with a new actor and then test the waters and maybe bring him back when they can do something interesting with him. Like, maybe, I don't know, explore the fact that he's also a time traveler and he can keep going back in time and correcting his mistakes, and making it really difficult for heroes to stop him, because that would be engaging and fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they spent a lot of phase 4 and 5 on characters that few people cared about to begin with. And yes, if they made better movies, they could have gotten people to care about those characters.
Yeah.
But it also means that they have some tremendously popular characters that they haven't ruined yet, which they could still ruin, but they're also there to be done correctly. So it's, and the thing with multiverses is stupid, but at the same time, they can multiverse their way out of it pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah. I have an audio pitch of it on my Patreon. It's a very easy way. And you even bring back a beloved actor who is desperate for work right now, and his quote's down significantly. So there you go. Go check that out.
All right. And then let's see here. We've got Jason Webster, who says with $2, the K-horror Exuma is my favorite film of 2024. Hopefully I said that right.
The Korean horror.
Yeah. Eczema. There we go. That's what I was. Eczema or Exuma?
Exuma.
I was going to say eczema is what you get on your skin.
Yes, that's different.
And then Jason Webster sends in another $5 Australian to tell us that Exuma has a production budget of only $9 million in the US and a global box office of $98 million. So it's like the next Godzilla. Sounds like. There you go, kids. All right. So what's that? We were going to talk some Cobra Kai. Is there anybody here who has not seen it yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Were you planning on seeing it?
I do plan on seeing it, yeah.
So I don't know if you want to stick around for this conversation or not.
All right, I'll bail out then.
That's totally up to you. I don't know if you want spoilers.
No, I don't want to ruin it. I love the show, and I just have been looking for like a few hours to be able to sit and binge all these episodes, and I haven't had the time over the past few days, unfortunately.
All right.
But
so, yeah.
I'll leave you guys to the discussion. Thank you, as usual, for having me. And if anybody feels like it, tonight at 11:45 p.m. Eastern time, I'm doing the Night Owl with some friends, and you're welcome to watch it on my live stream channel, Price of Reason Live. And that's it. You all have a great evening.
Thank you for being here, Price. We appreciate it.
Take care. Later. Bye.
Later. All right, and then we've got let's see here. We're already super chat. So okay, so the rest of you guys have seen Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
CC,
I haven't
you
seen
too?
it, but I don't care about spoilers.
Okay,
I'm
so
going
I
to
was gonna
enjoy it
say-
either way.
All right, so now I talked a little bit about this last night on Toxic Femme, so most people probably know my feelings on it if you caught that show. So let's start with you, Nick. What's your reaction so far to season 6 of Cobra Kai? And I think I'm just gonna throw up a warning right away, just because.
I really enjoy it so far. I know we went into a little bit last week. I have a minor concern with a certain subplot, but to be fair, we're all 5 episodes in and we have 10 episodes left. So that could obviously change once we see where it goes. But I know you and I share that skepticism, but obviously we're willing to have our minds change. I do like a lot of the character work with Johnny, of course, because that's obvious. But Robbie is what I really like with Robbie's characters going the season, and I thought a certain twist was really good with Tori as well. Even though I didn't want to see her go to that direction, it was very well executed in its delivery, even though I didn't want it to happen. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, few minor concerns, but once again, we'll see where we stand come November. But I do enjoy it so far, and I'm going to be rewatching the first 5 episodes real soon. So yeah, go watch it if you have, folks, especially if you're a fan of Cobra Kai.
All right, well, that was a brief spoiler-free reaction to the show, but so Script, what's your reaction?
Now go ahead, Nick. You're about to say something?
No, I was just going to say, I was just figure let everyone get their thoughts, and then we can all just have at
Yeah,
it.
no, we can
That's
do
all.
it that way.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, I enjoyed season 6, part 1. I love the parent stuff. I love the stuff between Danny and Johnny and Chosen much better than some of the kids stuff. Kids stuff still is a little wobbly there. And I didn't flinch at the new reveal thing, because I suspect these guys actually have a really good story regarding that. Because essentially Cobra Kai is...
I hope so, because you're talking about the literal mystery box.
Well, no, it's only a mystery box if it's never opened. That's the gimmick. That is the gimmick. If it's
Well, it's still a mystery
mystery
box until we find out what the fuck it means. That's for sure.
Well, no, because a mystery box is always like, it doesn't matter. It's just the mystery that drives it all the way through. It never has a resolution. Never has it never has.
That's why I said
result.
literal, not like figurative. But okay.
They're going to open this one, right?
Yeah. Well, no, whatever the mystery is, it's going to be solved. A mystery box never has a solution. That's why it's a mystery box. It's not a mystery. It's a mystery box, meaning that it's just a box with a mystery in it that you'll never, ever understand, never, ever get a resolution to, never get anything satisfying, no catharsis, nothing. You're being sold a box that has a mystery in it that is never going to be opened. And if you do open it, it's going to be empty because there was never a mystery in it in the first place. It's just the box. It's the packaging. It's like buying the original Star Wars action figures in 77, where you just got a cardboard cutout, only you'll never get mailed the actual action figures. You got swindled. It is a gimmick. These guys here, they've done 5 very solid seasons that have not done anything to disgrace or tarnish the memory of any of the characters, legacy or otherwise, in this. And I think they're doing this as a red herring to actually give a little bit more empathy with these characters. And I suspect that they're not going to dishonor in any way Pat Morita's character in this thing, because that would be a betrayal of everything they've done at this point. And these guys have actually never done anything to espouse that they would ever go in that direction anyways. These guys literally are telling a Star Wars story better than, not just Disney Star Wars, but even better than George Lucas Star Wars at this point, especially with the Tori storyline that Nick referenced. The rivalries and the trying to work together and trying to figure out what's going on between the relationship between Danny and Johnny is great. I like what they're doing with Miguel and Robbie. It's not terrible. It's the stuff with Sam and Tori dynamic. It was a little rough. And
honestly, I would say there's a few rough dynamics. I mean, I'll give my overall feelings. I did enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. But I do feel like I almost feel like they had a plan for 10 episodes, and then when they found out they were getting 5 extra ones, they had to pad it out a little bit. Because it feels like I explained it last night like the old Family Circus comic book or comics when they, when one of the kids would be told to go to the store and come right back or whatever. And it would show that they went from here to there to everywhere around this whole thing. And then the mom would be at the other end going, why did it take you so long? Right? That's what it kind of feels like here. Because it almost feels like we know exactly who's going to wind up at the final fight at the end.
Yes.
But they're just trying to pad out some story here because they know they've got to stretch this out into 15 episodes instead of 10. That's my biggest gripe. Okay? Because there's just certain elements of the story that it's just like, okay, you're just doing this now because we know that Kenny's either going to wind up coming in because the other girl's going to have she's either going to get busted or she's going to have a change of heart. I'm not going to get into specifics quite yet, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like that's just an example of something where we know that's where it's going to end up going, but we're just going through the motions now to get there. And it kind of feels like we're going through a few more extra motions than we normally would in this show is all. So that's that part feels a little padded. Yes, exactly. Yeah. But there is one thing on the adult side that half-ass goes nowhere. Partially does, but partially doesn't. And that is the whole thing with house hunting with Johnny. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really go anywhere. And it kind of has an anticlimactic resolution to it, though they might come back to it later on. So that's the other problem of this season so far, right? We're only looking at a third of a season. So we don't know exactly what else is to come yet. It could completely change our point of view of this season. Like we jumped to a certain point in the 5th episode where some people have speculated that we are going to get a bunch of going back and kind of seeing some other things that we didn't see from other points of view, like especially probably with the Tori character, for instance, and some other things that kind of fill in a gap there. Because it does feel like there's a big jump all of a sudden to when they get, to the tournament. It's like, well, wait a minute here. It takes a little longer to get there than just to do this kind of a thing. I feel like we're missing something here, but I don't know. I could be wrong. That could just be the middle portion of the story, and then there's a whole nother side of the story. And to get to the mystery box thing, that was my other concern, is because I'm not saying it's a mystery box in the sense like J.J. Abrams would give us. I get that.
That's the only type of one that exists, man.
I get it, but no, in this case, it is a literal box.
Yes.
Like a literal fucking box that has a mystery in it that probably will be solved. You're right. Although I disagree it's going to be completely solved in this show. In fact, I think this mystery box, and I'm going to keep calling it that because that's what it is, does set up, and it's a box.
No,
that has a bunch of stuff in it.
Is found in a box, but it's a mystery.
Regardless, agree or disagree on that fucking thing.
They're not selling us a box of mysteries. They're selling us a mystery that happened to be found in a clue.
It is still a box of mysteries until it's solved.
No,
that's the problem, script. It is.
I have another question.
It is, regardless of how you wanted to fucking find it. Because there's a bunch of shit here that we have no idea what it is. And unless they're going to solve each and every little piece and trinket that's in that box, there's still mysteries that are left unsolved. Okay, so that still makes it a mystery box, regardless if we know of some of the things that are in it. Some of the things make us may believe one thing or another. It may not be exactly your definition of what a mystery box is, but most people are going to fucking see it as a goddamn mystery box because that's exactly what it fucking is. It's a box filled with mysteries about Mr. Miyagi that have not been solved yet. And some of them probably will be solved by the end of the show. But here's where I don't think some of them will be, because I think some of this is setting shit up for that stupid fucking movie we're getting next year. Because there's a bunch of shit in here from China. And then I'm sitting here going, okay, so that's going to connect Miyagi with Mr. Hung or Wong or whatever the fuck Jackie Chan's character was. And who knows if this entire mystery is even going to be solved here. We may find out that this has more to do with that Karate Kid movie that's coming out than it does any of this shit. The only thing we're finding out now for sure is that at some point, either Mr. Miyagi or somebody close to him fought in the same goddamn tournament. Right? That's all we really know at this point. And that there's some mystery set up that Mr. Miyagi or somebody, either his brother or something like that, was set up for murder. That's all we know. Well, at least we can assume that because we don't think Mr. Miyagi would do anything other than fight in self-defense, right? But that's the whole mystery that they're looming over you, is that there's a mystery about Miyagi that you don't know yet. And I'm not saying they're not going to solve it for us or tell it to us. And I can already imagine where it's going to go. But my problem is I want this show to be wrapped up. I don't want it to be set up for a movie.
I agree.
Like, that's my
what I
biggest
agree with
issue.
you. I don't
Finish
want
the
it to be set up
show.
for a movie. I suspect that I suspect that it's the boxing gym owner who did the crime, and Mr. Miyagi took the thing because he could hide in China.
And I think that might even be the connection between
made a mistake, and Miyagi was like, okay, I will take this for you because I can travel here without any issues. And then that's why, because again, his grandson's like, yeah, my grandfather loved him. Like, he always said he was a great, honorable man, all these things. It's like, that sounds like a guy who not only loves him for who the character is, but loves him because he owes him something really, really big. And,
well, and as far as the tournament thing, like, I mean, that's pretty obvious. What we're going to learn is Miyagi either had to kill or somebody he knows got killed during that tournament. And Daniel and Johnny do not understand how actual real this fucking tournament is going to be. Right. And that's why Miyagi's probably never talked about it, and probably why he doesn't like tournaments in the first place, is I'm willing to bet.
Would you rather the tournament is the middle part of the season or the final part of the season?
I think that the tournament is, this is just my guess, unless they do the tournament and then set a bunch of other shit up in the last 5 episodes. My guess is, and this is what some other people are thinking, is that we're going to be standing here and just like in the lead parts of the tournament, and it's going to basically jump through a bunch of like flashbacks through those 5 episodes, and then they'll get to the tournament in the last 5 episodes. I don't know for sure, because there's another thing that people are going around saying, that it's not actually Miyagi in the photo. That's why the name's different. It's his brother. And I'm like, I don't know about him having a brother,
too, right? Yeah.
And they have a different birthday. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be an older brother.
Well, it could be brother, cousin. Again, even Chosen's part of the Miyagi family, and there's.
Well, he technically he's only by, because he's the nephew of Sato.
Yeah,
who Sato was also taught by Miyagi's father.
But I think Sato's might be related to not Miyagi's father, or like directly. I thought Sato was the nephew of Miyagi's father, but I might be wrong there.
No, he's Sato. Sato has no relation, because that was the whole point when he says to Daniel, is that I thought Miyagi karate was only taught from father to son, and Miyagi goes, I asked father to make exception this one time.
Mm-hmm.
Which also some people are also alluding to, maybe that some of because there's some stuff in there clearly from World War II. So I think that stuff might have to do with Julie's grandfather. So that's probably where she's going to come into play here.
And wait, Sato's Miyagi's wife wasn't Sato's sister, was it?
Okay. No, they wanted the same woman.
Right, they were after her. Right.
Yeah, it's basically the same story as it's kind of the same story as Ninja Turtles. The only difference is nobody died. The only difference is Miyagi just left without taking her with. Right? Like, that's the only big difference, is instead of fighting Sato, he decided, fuck it, I'm leaving.
Right.
But they're also setting this up, like, I wonder if they're setting this up for a spin-off Miyagi series as well. This is another reason why I'm not sure we're going to get all the answers. Because it makes me wonder if maybe they're setting him up for, like, he was possibly a spy during World War II for a bit or something. Since he would be Okinawan and he come to America and he fought for the Americans, basically. So there could be that aspect too, because there's been a lot of buzz around a Miyagi series, a young Miyagi series. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got a couple of Miyagi flashbacks to a younger Miyagi through this whole thing too. And I think you're right. They're setting up a possible older brother we never knew about, which I don't know how I'm going to feel about. Because you would think that he would have talked about his brother.
Member. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, he would talk unless, his brother whom he loved did something. I mean, again, remember, Miyagi didn't talk about his wife or the fact that she died in childbirth until he was really drunk.
That's true.
So there's lots that that Daniel doesn't know and doesn't necessarily need to know. But I guarantee, like, again, because he has that headband of the tournament in there,
Saikaitai or whatever.
Someone is going to have stories about Miyagi, and especially when they recognize Miyagi as Miyagi-Do, and never figured that the Miyagi family would ever open up a martial arts studio.
Well, and that's where I think this is why I don't think he's going to, this is going to get back to why he does not like tournaments. Because like I said, I think Johnny, because considering Kreese and all them, how they're acting and doing their thing, I don't think Johnny and Daniel have the slightest clue what they're getting themselves into. Is the whole point.
Oh no, it's not. I mean, that's why they brought in. Oh God, why am I forgetting his name?
Barnes.
Barnes. That's why they brought in Barnes, because he's actually participated in it. And yeah, that's.
Glad you mentioned Mike Barnes' script. That brought me to
because they even had that line where they were like, you know, like, because I think it was Barnes who said it, like, there's stuff in the first trial that could kill you, or basically, or something along those lines, or if you even survive the first trials or something like that. Yeah.
That's why Mike was trying to have as close to an objectivist take on who they were laying. I really liked where they're going, Mike Barnes. One of my other minor concerns was Johnny Lawrence trying to play the conflict of interest about Devin. I was just like, I don't feel like that's in Johnny's form to do that. I could see more so LaRusso do it, but Johnny doing that seemed, if I had to concede, he'd do it to one character, maybe Robbie or Miguel, but even then, I still think that's still even against his character a little. But
I don't know if I had a problem with that
like
so much as, I mean, they both had different points of view when it was revealed what happened to Tori's mother, right?
Yes.
And what I feel like was a failure on the writer's part, or unless they have a plan for this later on, is that both Daniel and Johnny have lost parents when they were younger.
Right.
And so
they should understand that.
Yeah.
They have very different takes on it. I think what they managed to bring in for Tori and her mom and stuff, even though they had to do it in a flashback, I thought hit hard and worked well. Well, the one thing that kind of felt a little bit contrived on the kids' side of things is that it's a men's and women's tournament, and they're going to the tournament with 2 girls and 4 guys. I'm like, no, that should be an even.
I thought it would be too.
There's other girls in that class. You can see them in the wide shots. And
the other thing I also thought was that the team is too white. So that's how I know Kenny's going to wind up on the team, or he's going to wind up on the crease side, one of the two. Because there's still 2 spots. We have no idea who's going to come in yet on the crease side.
Right.
So. And that's where I'm thinking a lot of people are thinking there's going to be flashbacks because they did that on purpose.
Well, I mean, when they were doing the stuff, it was just at the start of the school year, and doesn't the tournament take place like during the winter break?
See, that's the other thing too, is like, yeah, it's like a weird jump
forward. Yeah,
it was a weird jump. So I think we're gonna go back, and as soon as whoever comes in because we saw Tori, we knew she was there, but I have a feeling that the next person who walks in is probably gonna be Kenny, and then we're gonna go flashback into how he got recruited by Kreese, and then possibly another member that we did not expect will show up on Kreese's team. Because there's still the 2 spots. So, and then again, another flashback into how we got to that point. Or that's where what's-her-face, I keep forgetting her name, but that's because I didn't make a big deal out of her until this season, who ends up sabotaging Kenny. Either she gets ousted, unless she gets ousted and then shoved to the other side, or she just confesses and then Devin takes her, or Kenny takes Devin's place. I don't know. But yeah, like there's a possibility, but it's like you can almost kind of guess, like you said, the people that are going to wind up being on there at the end, but it kind of makes it, we don't know exactly who the other 2 people yet, or who are going to be on Kreese's team, and we don't know how they got there, because I think you're right. I think we have a time jump here, and we're going to flash back, and I think people that are saying that are right about that. But otherwise, I mean, I liked quite a bit of the show. Like, I loved, like you said, all the adult dynamics were great. The only thing I felt like went nowhere was Johnny looking for houses, but it may come back again later. But it did get us.
That was a weird one, because he meets the guy who's like, yeah, I've got other properties and you can rent to you just as long as you pass a financial background check, in which case that's how he got to work for LaRusso. So it's basically a waiting game, and the ticking clock is that, he's going to be a father in like 6 months. So he's got 6 months to get that in order and start renting a house big enough for the entire family of basically, 3 kids.
So they kind of left that unresolved, and they kind of only with a throwaway line, because he's like, oh yeah, I didn't get the credit or whatever. And then they just kind of leave it alone from there. Like I said, it could come back later, but it just felt like they wasted a bunch of time on that for no resolution. Or a shitty resolution, I guess, is the best way.
Well, they didn't. That thing is, they didn't resolve it. They just said you have to establish, a history of income, and that's why he's working for LaRusso. So that's.
But I do like that aspect. Like that was funny. Like that was one of the bits is him working and then having his Jerry Maguire moment, shit like that. Like that, I thought was kind of funny, and I do like the aspects of Johnny trying really hard to understand Miyagi-Do. Like I love the scene where he's sitting there, he's like, I even came up with my own kata. Then you cut to the scene, and he's like, big circle, elbow to the face, elbow to the face. It's like he's trying so damn hard, you know, like, but he just can't quite grasp it. And then he's like, I need an axe for what? I'm gonna chop down a tree and carry it through the woods, Rocky style.
And he does get a cool axe.
Yeah, no, there's just a lot of stuff in it that I thought was good. I'm not trying to shit on it overall. I know you said you didn't, but I got that knee-jerk reaction, and not because I don't think they're going to tell us the stuff that's in the Miyagi box, but I have a feeling it's going to lead to that goddamn movie and or a spin-off, and I don't like that idea. I want this show to have a nice tied-up resolution, because otherwise, if it doesn't, I'm going to be like, it should have ended in season 5, because you kind of got a resolution there.
Yeah,
like, was it totally perfect? No, but yeah.
I totally get that, because if it's all set up for a movie, that would be bad form. Because there's no way I think it's going to be set up for like making Miyagi a horrible person. You know, if anything,
no, neither do I.
Like the worst case scenario is that it's Miyagi made a mistake and is returning to like his father to learn, you know, Miyagi-Do karate and getting his life back in order is part of his redemption story, which makes him a very wise and beloved mentor, because he's like, yes, even I made a mistake in my youth, but it's only made me a better man now because I, you know, redeemed myself, and you can too, Daniel, you can too, you know, Johnny, and all those types of things. That would be a fine message, but that'd be in the worst case scenario, I think, because again, it could be argued, oh, they just tried to make him like, you know, Miyagi was a punk kid as a kid. It's like, listen, we were all assholes as a kid. Like, you know.
No, I agree with you. It's just it's either something
try to be betraying him.
Somebody stole it from him or somebody else. You're right, and he went to get it back, and then out of self-defense. And then he fled to China because you know, to hide, and or because, you know, he was wanted by the authorities, and that's where he either changed his name and all that shit, or like you said, and I said before too, he could even be an older brother, and you know that maybe leads them both to the tournament. Then maybe he loses his brother in the tournament, perhaps. Like that's
maybe maybe
there's all sorts of
possibilities.
possibilities.
Like
yeah,
maybe him and his brother, maybe it was his brother's best friends with the boxer, and that's what got into a scuff. And the two of them went to China to hide. They went to the tournament. His brother dies, and that's why he hates the tournament. His brother never got a chance to redeem himself. Never got any of that. And Miyagi is like, you know what? I'm gonna join the war for the Allies. I'm gonna fight for the United States. I'm gonna get my Purple Heart, and I'm gonna return.
Well, I don't think he planned on getting a Purple Heart, but I know what you mean.
I don't think he planned on it either. But I think he just like, I'm gonna do the best in honor for him. And then, you know, came with the rewards and benefits. And
the thing that with the next Karate Kid opens the door to is beyond part 2 is we starting to learn more and more people that he's actually taught karate to, right?
Yeah.
Because like we're kind of left with the impression in the first film, and Daniel is anyway, that he's the first and only person he's ever taught karate to. Well, then we find out, well, that's not true, because he taught Julie's grandfather, and there's possibly other people that he taught to that were over the years. So I mean, there's room to. So we only know certain points in Miyagi's life. So there's definitely room to go into it, but I just hope they don't make it some spy thriller, right? Like I said, yes, you can have certain things like where he's like, yes, he could be like, to prove his loyalty to America. Yes, they had him act as a spy, and maybe that's why he went to China or something like that. Who knows? But that being said,
a critical failure for me would be if they have to change their intended ending in order, like they were forced creatively to alter that.
I don't think that's the
flowing
case.
Into the movie.
I just think that maybe they were probably asked nicely to set it up with maybe some of the things in this box. That's where I think the China stuff is coming from, because that's where I think that's going to be the connection, is that Miyagi knew.
Then you're already changing stuff.
I know.
If you're asked nicely.
I agree with you. I agree with you, but that's where they're going to try and connect it in some way, shape, or form. But it's not going to be something that's going to be answered in the series. It's going to be answered in the movie, because as far as I know, nobody else from the series is involved in the movie. The movie's just supposed to have Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan in it, training some kid in China.
Yeah, and none of the Cobra Kai writing team is involved in the movie either.
No. They were finally talked to,
They were
And that's
finally
where
talked to. Well, that's what they were able to get 5 extra episodes out of Cobra Kai because of Sony and Netflix having a talk about the Karate Kid. The next
Oh,
Karate
so they've
Kid
already
movie.
they've
And
already
that's where I
discussed
wonder
this.
if that's where it got all integrated at that point, and they decided, okay, we'll do this, this, and this, and then this will finish off the show, and then it'll set up. And I already know, you and I, everybody fucking knows the show is going to end up with Daniel leaving for China or staying in China, depending on where they end up at the end of the show. And that's where it's going to set up for the movie, or it's going to set up with him getting ready to leave for China or something.
They'll have to be because they're in Spain
Yeah.
right now. So
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But there's some connection in that box with China, and that's where we know all this is headed towards. So they'll set it up. Hopefully, it's nothing like too blatant. It would be great if it was just some toss away thing, maybe. But I know it's not
The
going
movie
to be.
better be good then.
I'm concerned. I have no idea what to think because I don't like this idea of mixing the two universes together. I liked it the way that the creators of the show had it before in their canon. In their canon before, for those who don't know, they said in an interview, in their world, and this was before this movie was even announced, in their world, the Jackie Chan, Jaden Smith movie is a movie. Right? Like, it's just a movie. Like, so you could have even had a joke at one point where the kids were watching it on TV, and you could even have made a joke how close it was to Daniel's life or something like that, but they never did.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's probably why they're getting away with this now. I wish they had. I really wish they had. But they probably wouldn't allow them to do that. Because that was kind of how they got this deal done. Is that
Pretty
they
much.
told them,
Yeah,
you can do the movies if you want, and they don't have to be connected to this universe, right? Like, that's what they said. But
Yep.
Yeah.
I will say this. Props to them on. I mean, Hilary Swank is going to show up in this.
oh, you just muted yourself. I would say, you sure about that? But yeah, I think she is too, maybe, but I'm not 100%.
Mike just went out there. Yeah, I'm like 99% sure she's in this.
The only reason I'm wondering is because she just had a kid here, I guess, in April, and that's what I think they were just finishing shooting. So she would have been very pregnant, unless they're waiting for her bits until the last part, and they're gonna insert her stuff late in the game. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean,
Or they shot it way early.
I think they shot it way earlier because, again, they kept it really close with Elizabeth Shue not
True
being leaked, and they did a really good job with that. So I suspect they did the same thing, because how could you not go this far?
Well, Ralph was coy when he was asked about it directly. They asked directly, will Julie show up, or the actress Hilary Swank? And he said, look, I would love to see characters show up that haven't yet, and we got cameos and other characters who I would love to see get more time that we've already brought back. So you never know. And that was his answer. He did the dance around answer.
Yeah, which is exactly what he said for Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah. So, and I agree with you. I think at this point I'm surprised they didn't bring her in right after the whole Mike Barnes thing. Because I thought at that point that'd be the perfect point for her, because I thought, he wasn't clicking with them, but they needed, and Tori, actually, I could see now where she'd probably be more. I can almost see, like, at the end of the show, and it may even set up for like a spinoff of Tori, to where you can almost have like Ralph saying, look, I got a friend who might be able to help you. And
that's Hilary Swank.
Hilary Swank, exactly.
Because, again, Tori's like 17. She has no mom. I don't know who's watching her little brother while she's in Barcelona.
Yeah, they kind of neglected the fact that she's supposedly. I kind of was thinking that too. I'm like, didn't she have like a sibling or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah, she was on the phone with I guess a parent that
they never show him.
No, they never show him. But he's best friends with another kid. And he's staying over for a couple days at the best friend's house. Well, she's, kind of scraping by, I guess. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see that. But I think it'd be cool if they actually brought in, because again, Tori's an angry person, and Hilary
Julie
Swank was pretty angry too.
Lost her parents and all that kind of shit, raised by her grandmother, and
Yep.
yeah.
And yeah, you're right, because Hilary Swank, she had her twins in early 2023. So
Or was 2023? I thought it was this year. My bad.
Nope,
Then never
2023.
mind.
So she would have been able to shoot the summer right before the actors strike, and she would also have had 3 months at the start of the year to shoot anything else for the tail end, if that was going to be the case. And again, because part 3 isn't coming out till early next year.
Well, she was at the Golden Globes very pregnant. I can see that here.
Yeah. But I'm just looking right now. It's saying on April 10th, 2023, she announced that she had twins, a son and daughter.
I'm trying to see if there's some more newer pictures of her. Let's see here.
And then it wasn't until like a year later she said,
Oh yeah,
what
she
she's
got
doing
in pretty
for-
good shape again. So
Yeah.
I think that's plausible. She got in fairly, like, she looks really good for
49.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll probably try and show a picture here for you guys. I mean, kind of rude of me. God damn it. It's not as easy as it looks, kids. You gotta do a bunch of stuff. So yeah, this was her at the Something Angels premiere this year.
Well, she was in a movie with
Oh, zoom that in.
with Alan Richson, where
Yep,
she
that's what it is.
where she based off a true story about a town shoveling out a Snowden airport so that this dad could get his sick daughter to a hospital in time for some surgery.
Well, this says it come out in 23 though. Looks like early 23.
It's looking all right if that's
Came out
49.
late last year, yeah.
What ends with an RY later in the year though?
January or February?
23? And she would have been pregnant as fuck though. That's
Yeah,
why I'm
that
like,
doesn't look particularly pregnant.
No,
yeah,
that does
that
not.
doesn't make any sense at all.
Unless she had them through surrogacy.
Original Ordinary Angels premiered red carpet 2024. When? February 2024. They must have the wrong date on there. Or February 23rd. That's the date. That's why. Okay. Never
February
mind.
23rd, okay.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. All right. All right. Yeah. No, she was looking pretty good already by the beginning of this year. So, yeah, she got back into shape pretty quick, it looks like.
Yeah, good for her. Hopefully she's in Cobra Kai.
No, she didn't buy a kid. She actually produced one normally. It looked
Yeah,
like.
well, no, she produced twins. She has a son and
Twins,
daughter. She has
actually.
two
That's
children.
true. Twins. I'm not saying she probably didn't have a little medical help. That's probably how she got twins, but yeah. Oh,
well,
wow.
well, actually, between the ages of 35 and 50, if you haven't hit menopause yet, you're dropping larger amounts of eggs per.
I don't want to know how you know this shit.
Because I come from a family with a lot of doctors and
Oh, that would make sense. But, yeah.
and nurses and stuff and whatnot, and yeah.
All right. Well, we ended the poll, and surprisingly, only 43% of you plan on going to see Deadpool versus Wolverine this weekend. That's not. I'm kind of surprised by that.
My excuse is that I'm hundreds of miles from a movie theater. So
My suspicion, they're probably waiting to see how some of us feel.
Interesting.
And then to be fair, there's some also. I think I know. Hold on, I'm gonna backtrack slightly. I think there's a portion who's waiting for us to see how we feel. I think there's another portion who's just honestly they're just checked out. They just don't care, and they're probably not gonna see it, but they'll still listen to what we have to say regardless, just because we're here to commentate on Midnight's Edge After Dark about it. And of course, there's gonna be that portion who's well, they're going to see the movie, and hopefully they'll be here in time for the Thursday evening show.
Interesting. Brad Young is in the house and sends in $2 and says Cobra Kai may not be perfect. Still awesome though. Oh yeah, definitely.
Agreed.
Definitely a great show. The only thing about this season 2, I guess, my only gripe is that it's really starting to get that anime feel to it.
What do you mean?
Like just like it's an anime show.
I don't
Like
understand.
the rival karate schools fighting each other and the inner romances and soap opera-ness. And it's always been that way, but it kind of at least had like it just this time it felt a little bit more like I was just waiting for like the Japanese K-pop song or something to start playing at one point or other. You know?
Korean pop singers coming in.
Something, you know, just like yeah, it just at some points it was getting a little too much. But again, I'm really picking at fleas here because my biggest gripe, like I said at the beginning, is just that it feels like we got some padding. We got a little extra padding we didn't necessarily need, and whatever. I trust these guys enough. I'll let them have it. I'll wait and see how it goes.
We can give them a little bit of rope for the next 5 episodes, and that will determine whether or not we got to yank back or say heel boy or what have you.
I agree. And then we got Deform 581 who sends in 5 and says some of us might be waiting to see Deadpool at the cheap matinee prices. like $5 Tuesday thing.
Oh yeah, good thought.
Good point. I was just trying to get a gauge on the opening weekend because it's supposed to. God, I got the hiccups. It's supposed to open big. It's poised to be the biggest R rating opening.
What's the current biggest R-rated opening right now?
I think it's either Deadpool 2 or
because that was like what 130 opening weekend Deadpool or Deadpool 2. That was like or 120 something. Because I think Deadpool 1 opened up slightly higher, if I remember correctly.
Biggest opening weekends for R-rated films. Deadpool, Deadpool 2, It, Joker,
Okay, I was
Matrix Reloaded, and It Chapter 2.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's good right now. I'm still in my same predicament from a few weeks ago. I think it's going to do around 150 million opening weekend. And if people like it, it may, as much as we're saying from people who we are not as fond of to people we are fond of, it might have legs. And if so, that's going to definitely pave the way for a strong performance in the box office. So, yeah, I just want it to be good. I'm a simple guy.
I hope it's good. I feel like it's going to be, to me, it's kind of like my last hoorah with the MCU, I guess.
Well, even if we got to keep in mind too, even if it does do good and people genuinely like it, whether they're like, "Oh, it's pretty good," to "I'm over the moon about it," regardless of where people are at in terms of their ranking of likingness, it's still a short-term win at the end of the day because we have the Agatha show coming, and the Ironheart show that's finally coming,
That's been
and
announced?
They're gonna
Like,
follow
the
this with
release date
trash.
has been announced for Ironheart?
well, it's coming early, finally coming early 2025. And then you got the Sam Wilson movie. And
Captain
you had that
Falcon.
Thunderbolts movie that's not about the Thunderbolts, the actual Thunderbolts. Yeah, and then the Fantastic Four with Pass Hull as Reed Richards. Yeah,
God,
it doesn't look like it's gonna be a good 2025. I mean,
I mean, it's Marvel, right? They haven't been good since 2019.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I get it. And you're right. It's just This is a win, and let's not forget too. This was a Bob Chapek greenlit movie, so this is not something that was done under the Iger regime during Chapek's a short stay. So I don't know if this movie ever come out had Chapek had been in there for his 9 months, 10 months under his as a CEO. Well, how long was he actual CEO proper for?
Technically 10 months.
Okay, around 10 months. Okay.
0 days, maybe, if you really think about it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, he did enough that it worked.
Yeah.
But Iger came in and there we go. So yeah, I mean, listen, this is not going to solve the MCU. That's
no.
But
it's an island in the sea of piss at this point.
Yeah, if anything, it's a denouement. It's or an epilogue. It's an epilogue. It's like, okay, so you like that game, great, and maybe you like No Way Home, cool. Well, here we go. Here's Deadpool's kind of
version of that.
Version of that for essentially the Fox side of Marvel films,
which is going to make me sad because I said this earlier on Mr. H's stream. It's just going to be a reminder that another studio fell. And we no longer have 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
Which sucks, because they were one of the few studios who really took chances. Really took chances. Like, for better or worse, for richer or poorer, Fox was one of the few guys that would say, you know what, fuck it, let's try it. Like, they even had the balls to finally get an Independence Day 2 off the ground. Was it any good? No. But they at least said, fuck it, let's try it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sure there's a half a dozen good times where they've done that too. I could think of offhand, but Logan's a good example. Fuck it, let's try it. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as Tom Rothman left, they had a good run, and then sure, not everything was a hit, but that was one place you knew that it wasn't going to be Disney or the chaos that was Warner Brothers.
Yeah, Warner Brothers had that.
It wasn't Sony.
18-year stretch of horror.
Yeah. I mean, how do you go from being the top biggest studio to just
Well,
utter
for
chaos?
starters, you get rid of Kevin Tsuchihara because he was the one that kind of started the Warner Brothers on the top stuff. He got Harry Potter off the ground, Lord of the Rings off the ground, along with.
Oh, I was talking way before that, but yeah, you're talking more modern.
I'm
days,
talking
yeah.
about more modern part, yeah, because again, they were doing well. I mean, and then on top of that, they were trying to make their own DC universe until Chris Nolan said, "No, I don't want any part of that," because they bet on Batman Begins and that paid off. They did The Dark Knight, which did better than they expected. Superman Returns did well, but the accountant said, "No, we're not going to follow this up because of all the other expenses leading up to that film." And then they got rid of Kevin Tsuchihara. What do we get next? Well, we get Green Lantern, Jonah Hex, then we get the Snyderverse. and
just the rest of the whole company.
And then the superhero films is what kept Warner Brothers afloat in between their bombs in the 90s. That's one of the aspects they did, because they were going more superhero with the Batman franchise in the 90s, and then they're getting a little art housey with their other films that were there. The only thing that kind of gave them a little bump, oddly enough, was Dick Donner coming in to do Lethal Weapon 4, which did not perform as well as they wanted to.
That era also, they still had, Kevin Costner pre-Postman. They had, Clint Eastwood. They had all the, Nolan was coming in eventually.
Well, I
they
mean,
they had a nice stable.
They were a director's haven.
Studio. Yeah.
And then, the pre-Me Too movement got rid of Kevin Tsuchihara, got a whole bunch of other people in there. And then
anyway,
they lost. Everyone that was good at their TV division left in 2002. So that's why Warner Brothers TV on their CW network and the WB network tanked. Yeah, it's fortunate. And then Paramount just did the dumbest thing ever. They didn't fight to keep Ike Perlmutter in the Marvel Cinematic Universe over on their side.
Well, Paramount's been dumb since the 90s, so we don't even need to get into that. But Joey...
True.
Joey, we're going to talk about this tomorrow on the morning show, so stay tuned for that. Perlmutter, he actually checked out a couple months ago, it sounds like, but we'll definitely break that down.
The day Trian checked out.
Probably. But we'll definitely get into that more in depth tomorrow when Andre, who's already done written a video on it, will definitely have some interesting takes on it, I'm sure. Maybe we'll get Mikey in here too, so he can have his piece to say on it. But I think we're going to get out of here. I want to thank you guys for hanging in there with me. It's been a fun show. Thursday, keep in mind, I think we mentioned this earlier, but we're going to mention it again. The show will probably be starting later because we're going to do a Deadpool review. So most likely, I would say sometime between 7 and 8 o'clock Central Time. So keep that in mind. I never exactly know because of traffic and whatnot. And I'm going to a different town this time than I normally go to. And it's a tourist town, so we'll see how bad it is. I could be making a mistake. This
time of year? Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah. Because the horror story of horror stories of me trying to go see a movie there once when I went to see Terminator 3, and I got stuck on the interstate and I missed the first showing.
Oh, no.
Because it was 4th of July weekend, though. That's why. Like, it was a traffic jam on the interstate for like 5-6 miles. And I couldn't get to an exit. I'm like, fuck. I just want to drive off the road. So I had to miss the first showing. But yeah, so hopefully I don't run into any problems like that. It's kind of late enough in the July time period that I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, it stays crazy till Labor Day. When all the kids go back
for
to
the
school
most part, but as long as it's not a
home.
holiday weekend, it's not so bad over there.
Yeah.
So, all right, kids, let's get the hell out of here. Script, what you got going on?
Scripts on Saturdays. This Saturday, talking about a screenplay that was recently sold, or better yet, purchased by Orion Studios. So we're gonna see, are they do they have their wits about them, or did they purchase a dud? We'll find out this Saturday at 7 p.m.
That reminds me, I got to get to that script here sooner than later. Nick, what you got going on? No Toxic Tuesday tonight, right?
Yep, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Toxic Tuesday will be coming back in 2 weeks, so I know it's a slightly longer break than usual for the summer, but 2 weeks we'll be back for the month of the Westerns. We'll announce our flick next week, so people get a nice heads up. Until then, though, Clobby's Comic Shop Friday night. I'll be on here Thursday night to talk Deadpool and Wolverine. And for the comic fans, I will be reviewing Mark Miller's Nemesis Rogues Gallery. That should be out Thursday morning, so keep your eyes and ears open up for that one. It's going to be absolutely diabolically huge. So thanks for having me. Fun show to be on tonight. And I'm going to go out and see Twisters.
It's a twister. It's a twister.
I'm going to see Twisters.
Well, I'm just glad it's not all full of messaging.
I know,
according
right?
To everybody. So I was just imagining.
Titty twisters.
Yeah. Oh my God! It's a gender 42 level tornado! It's a transnado!
It's getting gender fluid everywhere.
Yeah. Put some nukes in that bastard. Somebody came up with that in the chat. Yes. Because they started with sharks. I'm like, we already got a Sharknado. And then somebody came up with nukes. I'm like, well, that's a winner. That's a winner. CC, what you got going on?
Karaoke this Friday will depend on which campsite I get tomorrow. If I'm lucky enough to get one that'll provide me with some electricity, or unlucky enough to get
that's
one
always
that's
important.
Yeah, well, I mean, I depend on solar, and that's the thing is like if I'm under the trees, I can stay cool and not totally sweat out the summer. But then I don't have power, so it's that's the trouble with summer. I'll keep you posted. But as the summer goes on, it'll get cooler, and I'll be out in the sun more, and there will be more karaoke later. But I don't know about Friday yet. We'll see.
All right, sounds good. All right, and with that, I think we're gonna get out of here. Take care of yourselves and each other, and until next time, peace.
Well, bye.